Peace and welcome back to the Rising Cream podcast. Yes, it's been a minute, but I went through a season at a time where I was just obedient to the transition, the shift of just being quiet, just being silent, continuing to evolve and work on myself as an individual. Because life is a never-ending classroom, and which is why I always say I'm a student of life. And so I kick back, but I want to thank everybody who has supported this platform since day one. Even back when it was Jihad Live, I went through Humanity Works. I went through so many different names until I finally came with one that I thought that fits. And the reason why I named the platform The Rising Cream is because me, I'm not caught up with everyday celebrities, movie stars, athletes, and people of this nature. I admire and respect the everyday hard-working men and women who make society go. Our doctors who don't get enough credit, our police officers who don't get enough credit, those who fight fires, medical paramedics. These people are important to our lives. Those who come and fix on your house, those who perform landscaping on your job, the teachers, those who teach our children. These are the most important people to me. Those who fix your taxes, right? Because it's essentials, it's life essentials. Those who are dietitians, who grow positive fruits and meats that we can eat to stay healthy. These are the most important people to me. So the cream is going to always rise to the top. Athletes, like the underdog athlete, I've always went with the underdog athlete because the cream is going to eventually rise to the top. So I want to thank everybody who supported the platform and who's also supported the book. And if you have not picked up your copy, you can always click down in the link in the description. You can grab your copy today. And so a lot of times it's been kind of crazy because as of lately, people's like, you're done with the podcast, you haven't uploaded. I had no idea that many people was paying attention. So once again, I am very humbled. Now let's get into this conversation. Whenever I'm involved in a high-level conversation with an individual, I have a propensity to ask this one question. If God granted you the opportunity to talk to a loved one who is deceased, who has transitioned, who would it be and what would the conversation be about? And almost 9 times out of 10, everybody always says their grandmother. And for a while, I was kind of wondering, like, that was kind of a stark acknowledgement. Nobody said Big Papa, dad, cousin, brother. Nobody even said ancestors so they could get answers to their ancestral lineage, right? But I began to come to the understanding of why most people said grandmama. And the reason why most people would go to their grandmother because she was a wisdom well, deep with waters of wisdom of life. And you can go to her and talk about anything, relationship, medicinal things to help heal the body, spiritual aspects of life, her history as a young girl, maybe in the South had picked of cotton, But the point that I'm making is the former generation of elders, Big Mama and Big Papa, they grew up. They challenged us. They forced us to understand life. They threw us to the wolves and they didn't coddle us, which is one of my biggest saying. And if any athletes ever played for me, and I know my parents, they hear me say this all the time, I don't coddle mediocrity. When we grew up in our generation, I tell people all the time, those black men that we saw on the sidelines during our football games, they were gangsters. The men who came to our PTA meetings along with our mamas, they were gangsters. Those who protected the community, they were gangsters. They wouldn't allow the women to be harmed or the children to be hurt. They were gangsters. And not gangsters in the aspect of going around killing, murdering, and doing counterproductive things in the community. They stood strong. They were tall. They were handy. They were masculine. They were in shape. They could fix things. This is around the time where the community was on one accord, but I understand the reason why. We'll get into that in another episode. And so when it came to the thing with my own children, I was asked a question one day, what is your role and your purpose as a father? And I sat and I thought about it. And I sat on that thought. And I've come to the conclusion that my responsibility, my purpose as a father, and my duty as a father is to prepare my children for when I'm no longer in this world. End of story. Is to prepare my children when I'm no longer in the world. Kimberly Reyes, a brilliant mind who I've had on this platform. She is the CEO and founder of All the Unexpected. She talked about maternal death rates in the hospital, especially dealing with women of color. She said something one time on the show that I thought was very profound. She said, you don't give your children everything that you never had. You teach them everything that you never knew. And so a lot of times we relax so many parental discussions to where or skills or duties that I say a lot of times that non-white people in the concept called America, we reproduced our children biologically and then we turn them over to a society to raise psychologically. And now we wonder about the dysfunction. It is our responsibility to raise our children, to teach them their ancestral lineage, to teach them knowledge of self, to teach them common courtesy, how to speak, how to talk, Stay on top of them when it comes to homework, and make the main priority is being intelligent enough to think and solve problems without causing problems. So when I examined all my children, every last single one of them, I'm not sitting up here as the perfect father, and I'm not saying all my relationships with my children are perfect, but as a father, I sat and I watched and I examined all their strengths, and I also examined all their weaknesses. The weaknesses is what I honed in on. I'll take Autumn, my youngest daughter. Most people know her as Peaches. I looked and I realized she had social anxiety real bad. So what I did as a father, when we went out to eat, we went to Golden Corral. And I would stand back and say, hey, go up there and get your food. She was terrified. Take your plate, get your fork and your knife, go up there, get chicken wings, macaroni and cheese. I'm going to stand back and I'm going to watch you. She was absolutely terrified. Now, I could have coddled that fear and be like, it's okay, Daddy will go with you and I'll assist you. But that's not the era that I came from. And a lot of things that our former elders did, it still works to this day. No, there wasn't a cell phone. No, there was not any internet. But what they did works, and we're still carrying on to the culture of what our parents put in us to this day. A few times she went up there, she wasn't successful. I wasn't finna let no adult just badger and push in front of her. She actually found out that people found her to be very courageous, and they were kind and they were cordial, and they even helped her fix her food. But I tried to get her to understand that in society, when I'm going, you're going to have to learn how to operate in this world. You're going to have to face every challenge that you don't want to face. There's a lot of adults right now watching this episode knowing that you could be elsewhere in your life, but because you had a fear of facing a challenge, whether it started in your childhood or whether it's now in your adulthood, you had a fear of facing a challenge and you never got to the plateau that was originally intended for you to live in your life. And so that was something that I did as a father. The second thing that I performed and carried out was that I signed her up from MMA classes. Now, I asked her before, did you want to do any type of mixed martial arts? She said no. Did you want to play basketball? No. Now, for a minute, I'm like, okay, she don't want to do that. I'll find something else she wanted to do. But I could recall as of yesterday, parents and adults, they didn't give us a choice. We did what they told us to do. And a lot of times they did it knowing and understanding what they were doing it for. So I signed my daughter up for classes. By the time we got to the gym, she was, once again, terrified. Climbing all over the seats, acting a fool, didn't want to get out the car. Sorry about that. Didn't want to get out the car, crying, even just kind of swatting her hand at me like she was really mad, like she wanted to hit me. But I said, you know what? I said, let's go in there and let's see what happens. I said, because you're not going to do this. 10 minutes into the class, she was in her complete element. She was in there learning how to do her footwork, learning how to throw jabs and combinations, situational awareness. And I want to give a shout out to Coach Randy at Striker House in Alpharetta, Georgia. I'm going to put the link to the gym, I'm going to put the link down in the bio or in the description of this video. Click on that, and if you have a child today, sign them up. And I signed her up for the purpose of discipline and self-confidence. So if I could teach my child young to face all her challenges young and acclimate this as something to do, when she becomes an adult, she won't run away from her problems. She won't run away from taking care of business or thinking that some entity or some supernatural being is going to take her for it. There is human work required in the material realm for us to be successful in this life. So, in understanding where we need to go as a people, we have a lot of confusion, a lot of bickering and back and forth. But what people don't understand is you don't argue with adults. You can't oppress an adult to think like you, believe like you, live like you. If you want to have a change, you have to raise it, and it comes in the children. If you know something, if you have valuable information, knowledge, continued education, the history, the wisdom, just the understanding of any said industry, whether it's construction, whether it's food, whether it's medical, whatever it is, in the world of business, IT, AI, teach the children and stop worrying about the adults. It's all about the babies at this point. One thing that Allah said before he was assassinated, June 13th, 1969, he wrote on the school board in Allah School of Mecca in Harlem, teach the babies. Teach the babies. And that don't have to just remain with the 5% of concept, but all of us should be teaching the babies and continue to teach on. So once again, it's glad to see everybody again. I'm trying to upload more content. Things have gotten real busy with umpiring and coaching. And yes, my girls, they had a successful season. They had a very successful season, as well as all of our teams out of the organization that we are now currently with. I'm always wishing everybody the best. But the one thing that I want people to understand, and I want you to question yourself, what is your reason to exist? And are you missing your reason to exist because you were scared and terrified to face a challenge that you were fearful of? Disclaimer, this video was made by a human being and not AI. And I always want to leave you with something. The biggest mistake that you can make in life is to think that you have time. Until next time, peace.